Good day, everyone. Welcome to our Route 66 tour. We're in Grants, New Mexico. We're going to head over to Gallup, New Mexico, which is on the border of New Mexico and Arizona. Got a little bit of weather in the area. You can see off in the distance there. We have a little bit of cloud and looks like rain in the distance. Checking my speaker cable there for the headphones. Now we also got a little bit of wind, but we should be pretty good. It's going to be a shorter flight. We're going to probably be dodging a little bit of rain. There's some low cloud in the area, but we're going to head over to Gallup and see the sights as we go. So we're currently, as I mentioned, in Grant. So let's jump into the aircraft. We'll get her fired up and we'll taxi it. We're going to be taking off to the southwest, and then we'll do a left-hand turnout orbit around Grants and get a look at it from the air. And we'll be going up to 8,000 feet, which will give us about a 1,500 foot above the ground cruising altitude. There we go. That's the button I wanted. So first thing we're going to do is get rid of that, and we can get the aircraft powered up. Wait for the screen to come online. There she is with the beacon light on and the nav lights on. I'm going to go mixture full rich, crack the throttle, and fuel pump on. Do about 5 seconds. There we go. You can see the fuel flow came up slightly as that pump was on. And we're ready to go, so we'll put the mags to both and starting engine. Right, aircraft is up and going. Get the avionics on. Get everything up. So we were all turned on here. We're going to go, as I mentioned, 8,000 feet. That'll give us roughly a 6,500 foot elevation. I'll just check the weather quickly. Winds are currently 140 at 13, gusting 18, a little bit windy, 16 degrees, and 3039 for the altimeter. So we'll set that. There we go. Let's bring the engine up to about 1,000 RPM. Help it warm up. And what we'll do is we'll come in here. I'll get rid of that stick for a second. We're going to put in our route. So we'll flight plan, and we will enter it in. So we're in the US, so it starts with Kilo, and we are at GNT for Grants. There we go. Enter that in. And we're going to go straight. We're going off on, 13. And we'll enter our destination airport in. Which is Kilo, and it's Golf Uniform Papa. we go. That's pretty much on the border of New Mexico and Arizona. And at the moment, winds are out of the east, so we're going to look at landing on runway 06. So we'll just put in 06. There we go. So that's now all entered in. We can close that down. We'll zoom out a little bit. And our distance is just under 50 miles. That should be pretty good. So we should be warmed up by now. Taxi light can go on. Release the brakes. And we're going to taxi down there. You see the rain on the horizon. We're not going far. We'll go up to the first intersection. And that should give us about halfway on the runway, 3,500 feet, more than enough room. Let's see, parking brake is off. We should be able to just get this thing to kick around here. There we go. A little bit of judicial left brake. Yeah, we're in that really high plains area that you find down here in the southwest, so we're gonna have to lean out the engine with the mixture before we go, or we're not gonna have any power at all. We'll do that at the hold short line on the runway before we get going. We're already at 6,500 feet, which when I was flying was generally higher than my regular cruise altitude in the 172, so it is going to show up as low engine performance that we'll have to deal with. And like I said, we'll swing down and take a look at Grants from the air. We're also going to maybe avoid some of this rain a little bit. There's a couple places I want to visit. A nice state park up to the northwest we'll go take a look at as we leave Grants. Hey Talia, how are you today? So here's the hold short line coming up. So we're going to stop there. We'll get configured for our takeoff, and then we're going to lean the engine out and make sure we're getting all the power out of it we can get for this high altitude takeoff. Oh, okay. We should see you in a minute then. I'm going to go over to the town to the southeast and orbit around there and kind of work my way around this rain, so you should be able to catch up pretty easily. Alright. So we are going to go flaps 1. We'll turn on the landing lights, strobe lights, turn off the taxi lights. What I'm not going to do is I'm going to run the engine up to 1800 RPM on the brakes. Puts the engine under a bit of load. There we go, 1800 RPM. And now I'm going to pull the mixture back. And there you can see that power increasing. And I'm going to pull it back until it starts to drop. Yeah, usual multiplier, Talia. European, Northern Europe server. Just 1950, 1960. Still pulling back 1950. Okay, she's dropping. 1960. So she's leaned out. Come back on that power now. She's leaned out to give us maximum power, which is what we want. So we'll bring it up to 1,000. Brakes off. We'll taxi out. And yeah, 8,000 to set for our cruise. So we got a nice little wind, headwind as well. So we should only need about, I'd say about 1,800 feet, maybe 2,000 feet for the takeoff, and this will give us close to 3.5, so we should be good. Get ourselves lined up. There we go. More or less lined up. What I'm going to do is just do a quick heading bug click. Yeah, it never does. So we're set with our heading, we're set with our altitude, so we'll be good to go. Alright. I'm going to bring the power up to 1500 before I release the brakes, just to give us that little extra initial power. 1500, brakes released. Slowly coming up to full power now. And you can see our speeds were on there. We went about a 55 to 60 for rotation. There's a little terminal building here at Grants. There's 55. We're going to add in a little bit of back pressure. There we go. A little wheel chirp, and we're up. There's 70 knots. So autopilot, heading, vertical speed. There's Grants down below. You can see it tucked into the mountains here. Rain in the distance. Bring the flaps up. This is when we came in. We flew down along this ridge line here. Okay, oh, there's Talia. Along the ridge line and circled around, came in and land. And of course, there's the Interstate 40, which is now overlaid the old Route 66. Grants is for the most part over here on the north side of the interstate. Interesting little rock clearing here. No indication of what that is. It does say this is just up in here is the El Malpais National Monument Visitors Center. Interesting. And there's your town. Of course, other than Albuquerque, New Mexico, and Santa Fe, I think Gallup would be the next famous one. Of course, there's the, you can spot the school, the high school with the sports field, football field. I'm going to turn to the west now. Head back towards the airport. You should be able to pair up with us. Let's get that heading around. There we go. So we're up to 8,000 feet, so I'm just going to bring the power back to about 2450. That should be good. She's all cleaned up. I'm going to take the landing light off. settle her into a nice cruise. So we're going to head up. We're going to kind of follow south of the interstate. We're heading up towards Blue Water State Park, which apparently has a nice lake on it. We'll make a right turn here to follow the interstate so we don't overfly Talia. She's climbing out. Definitely got some weather. We're probably end up flying through it on the way, but let's see what happens. We're going to head off in this direction. We can see the interstate. Carrying on. Secondary road. The railroad tracks run along there as well. Probably part of the famous Santa Fe line. So we're live weather. See, we've got rain showers all over the place and fair winds. Not quite outside the range of the aircraft, but would definitely cause issues if we had a 80 or 90 degree crosswind. The airport elevation of the airport we're heading to is about the same, 6472. So it's about 100 feet lower than where we took off. But we are going to have some terrain to go over, as you can see in the distance there. Hey, M7 Air by 77. We are on the Northern Europe server, and we just left Grants, Kilo Golf November Tango. And if you want to come and join in, by all means. So if you don't know, all of my live streams are community flights. They're either multiplayer, such as this one, or they are on VATSIM. And we sometimes fly little general aviation airplanes, and sometimes we're in the airliners. Kind of varies. If you want information about what we are flying, you can check out my Discord. I'll get in the chat to put the link up. You'll find the link in the description as well. It'll go into the VOD after the stream when I do the edit and copy the information in. But, yeah, you're more than welcome to join in and fly along. You're behind me. I'm heading, following the interstate northeast. So you've gotten far enough away that you're, I can't see your lights. I had about... slowing down. I'm doing 90 knots right now. I'm about 24:30 on the RPM. But yeah, you're back behind me there. So here's there's a waterway that kind of runs up from here. We're going to follow it inland. Oh, looks like we're going to go into the rain a little bit. Oh, I see your lights now. This is going to take us into Blue Water Lake, which is in the part of the Blue Water State Park area. So it should get interesting. Let's check my 2450. I'll try to keep it down about there. It's a little bit high. Give you a chance to catch up there, Talia. Alright, so here's the little waterway. It leads off this way. We're going to turn to follow it in. Oh, really? Did you make sure your nameplates are on, your name tags? We're getting a little water on the windshield now. There's the ravine here where that river flows. Came back inside just so we can as we fly through the cloud here. Like I said, we're going to follow this down to the lake. Really had wished they'd fix that multiplayer bug. I'm not seeing much water down there. Definitely see the carve out that it's made. Looks like it's might have dried out a little bit. This engine keeps spooling up. Flying over the trees, kind of heading towards the lake. We are pretty low. Get an idea of the speed here. You can feel that turbulence as we're bouncing over the terrain here, but that lake should be coming up. Some more of the weather. Here's the lake. See where the little channel goes around and then comes out, and there we go. Well, definitely a higher elevation here. We're only a couple hundred feet above the ground. Swing us around here. Definitely getting low terrain warnings here on the screen. We're not going to fly right over to that ridge line there. We're just going to circle back to the lake. Then we're going to follow the lake up. To the northwest, back into the rain, and then from there we'll head back over to Route 66. I think at this point we are probably going to have to go up to 9,000 feet. So I'll go a little vertical speed. Couple hundred feet per minute. We'll just let the airplane slowly climb up. We're definitely below the terrain here. On this rainy day. Definitely got heavy rains in the area. Alright, so let's turn to the north. Head back over to the Route 66. Let's make sure we're above, yeah, we're above the train now. Very beautiful area in a very different way than I'm used to. The terrain and everything. This is Blue Water State Park. And now we're kind of going to be working our way up towards the town of Thorough. So we're going to make a left turn when we hit the interstate, the old Route 66, and then we'll go back to following it westwards towards the Arizona border. More rain coming up. Yeah, it's not the last we've seen of it. Yeah, keep kicking it. I actually haven't had the bug, the multiplayer bug in a while. I just haven't seen it appear for anything. So there's the interstate / old Route 66, so I'll make the turn. West here. Hard to see how far the bug's moving when you're outside the cockpit. And there we go. It's the town of Thorough. Anything interesting there? There's a big ass burger. And according to the picture on Google Maps, yeah, it's not a bad looking burger. There's a neat little landmark coming up. I mean, we already passed the halfway point on our trip down from Chicago. But there is a interesting point coming up after we pass the town. There's Talia coming in. And there's the town of Thorough. The interesting thing here is that we've only got two more states after this: Arizona, then California. Here's the town of Thorough. It's one of those flights, is it? Yeah, it looks like the rain's going to be hitting us all the way there. Off and on. It's okay, it gives the airplane a wash. Yeah, I got some government paperwork I have to fill in myself. Not really looking forward to it, but I want to do it before I go away. So I got about under 2 weeks to do it. Alright, so we're leaving the town of Thurl behind. And just up here, in fact, up where that rain was, or where that rain is, in that area there, is the Continental Divide. So once we go past that, all water from these hills flows to the Pacific, and on this side, all water from these hills flows to the, I guess, to the Gulf at this point, or the Mississippi. Well, we're really getting west now, out over the high plains here. And definitely windy. The winds at Gallup are currently, well, an hour ago, 080 at 11, so we're going to be landing on runway 06, and it's overcast with a few clouds, so you can see the weather ahead. So we'll be doing meant to be doing some scud running to get in there. Coming up to the little town of Coolidge and Jamestown, and then there's a big refining area on the map. I wonder if we're going to see that show up. So I'll tell you, if you're looking ahead for me, I'm behind you. So you're aware. But yeah, I got blue sky when we're out from under these isolated rainstorms, and then this heavy rain. I guess there's a lot of flash flooding out this way as well, given the nature of the landscape. Not a lot of soil and stuff to trap the water. It's all like hard packed desert type of material. Not a lot to see. Kind of in the clouds a bit. And if we go inside, we're definitely getting hit with that water. See, the Gallup Airport is showing up. We're only about 20 miles away from it now. Get 7,500 feet for the circuit. Probably straight in on the downwind on the left-hand circuit. Ah, there's that refining area I mentioned. coming up to a couple little towns here, like really little towns, and then Fort Wingate, which is a U.S. military base. It will appear, just after we make the turn, and then the airport should be just after that. It's right before we get to the actual town. There's Talia up there, a little bit higher than us, and leading the way. Oh, that's pretty heavy water there. Just trying to get a decent perspective. There we go. And a big wall of rain coming up. Interchanges and stuff coming in here, little towns, very little towns. It is kind of beautiful in its own way. Even with the rain. Like, you can see the roads here. That's part of the base. The edge of the base is in here. And then it stretches all the way out here. Currently getting downpoured on. About 14 miles out. I'll jump inside now for this bit. Ooh, definitely going into some IFR conditions. We're going to drop down to 7,500. Yeah, well, wee weather. The stuff that would have me scrambling for holes to try to get through or turning around, heading back, but there's the military base off that way. No-fly zone over here. There's the airport, and then there's the town just past it. I like how the GPS brings us to the other side of the airport so we can come in on the proper runway. 1,000 feet to go. Pitot heat on. Should have done that before. OET is 15 degrees, so not too worried about freezing on it. And runway heading will be 062, so pretty much 060. Lights up a little bit. There we go. Used to have, I know on the old P models, or on the R models, there used to be like a little fluorescent light under there that would illuminate the dash. You could turn it up and down. Alright. So I'm going to turn a little bit more westward. Try to line ourselves up so that we're flying the downwind. So we're not going to be able to see much until we pretty much get right there. There's the old highway, there's, well, the interstate and the old Route 66 coming into the town. Go to 242. Should put us on a perfect 180 reciprocal for the airport, so it should appear just off to our left. So we're almost down to 7,500. Some of this lower terrain as we come across here. I think they gotta call the Department of Highways out, fix that. We'll turn outbound for a minute just to create that space. We were heading right before the airport. Room to do our turns. All right, 7,500. We'll bring the power back up. And the airport's coming into sight. She's over there. So we're not going to bring the mixture to full rich. We'll lose a big chunk of our power availability. So we're going to keep the mixture leaned out as we come in. Oh yeah, before they smoothed it, the Humber Hump. That was rather brutal. We'll just go to the other side of this road here and we'll use that as our outer marker, or our outer eliminator for our line. Come back over to 242. Just popped out of the clouds. And there's the airport. Go downwind. We'll do a full 180 circle when we get to the far side. Just dealing with that wind right now. See, we got a little bit of a tailwind at the moment. Our ground speed is 123 knots, so not too bad. There's where we're going to be parking, at the eastern end. And runway length is just over 7,000 feet. 7,300 and a couple. But there's a couple of taxiways we can get off, so we're not blocking the runway completely. So now that we're in the circuit, we'll put our landing lights on. Cleared through. Autopilot can come off and start pulling the speed back. Start trimming it for 65. There's first notch of flaps. And we'll just do a complete circle to final. Keep that speed coming back. And second notch of flaps. Aiming for 65. That's not too bad. Slight overshoot, but we're doing alright. There's 65. Nose down. Use power to control pitch. Pretty high, but we got to go right down to the end, so that's fine. See the nose coming down, speed coming up. Slight crosswind from the left. We get that power back. She's floating on us. Fine. And we want to land and roll to the end, and then by us landing long, it gives Talia room to come in, land short behind us, and there's no real conflict. Speed coming down. 49. Alright, welcome to Gallup, New Mexico. We'll get off at the next exit here. Let's keep her rolling. There she is coming up. Keep the engine going a little bit. Don't want her to bog right out on us. And we are clear. So flaps can come up, taxi light on. Strobe light off, landing lights are off. We'll head down to the ramp. It's a short flight today, but it does wrap up our time here in New Mexico. There's Talia coming in. Park in here. In front of these little buildings. There we go. Brakes are set. Alright, so mixture's fully back, throttle's fully back, magnetos are off, lights are off, avionics off, and the master is off. And there's Talia coming in over there. So that's going to do it for this flight on our Route 66. Again, it was a short one, as we're just closing off the last of New Mexico. 2 states to go, Arizona and California. We should get some nice views of the mountains around California there, or the Cascades, or I can't remember what they're called. And of course we'll get the beautiful sights in Arizona as we fly into there as well. So thank you very much for joining us. Talia, thanks for hopping on last minute and making the flight today. And we'll see you on our next live stream, which is on Friday. Once again, if you are interested in joining, you are more than welcome. Information's in the Discord. You can find the link in the description below. I'll throw it up in the chat one last time. And we will see you then for that one. You still haven't seen me? State of confusion not on the list, yeah. Well, I'm here, and I can see you taxiing in, so it's all good. Anyway, thanks guys. We will see you on the next one. Bye for now.